I just had a really great tennis match, and I really do believe that for anyone in business, tennis is probably one of the best sports out there because it's so much about your mind and so much about how focused you are point after point, which I think in the business term would be minute after minute, task by task. It's the ability to really focus on the task and complete the task, right? You have one point, focus on that point, bring it home. Next point, focus on the point and bring it home. I was lucky enough to play tennis here. These are actually the courts where I pretty much grew up in my town. And I've been so blessed to take 8 years of tennis classes. I think I was maybe like between 5 and 13, probably something like that, yes. And it's been absolutely a lifesaver. Because every time I play a tennis match, I'm really going through my own psychology, my own strengths, my own weaknesses, my own opportunities and threats. So I'm really doing a whole SWOT analysis on myself, right? And so I realize I catch myself sometimes at tennis thinking about the next point, thinking about that if I do this point, I will then win the game or win the set or whatever. And it's like, you cannot think too much about that. You think a little bit, then really like stay focused, get the focus back on the point by point, step by step, action by action, task by task, okay? And that's one thing. The other thing is about like the ability to put the right level of strength, right? And then keep strength as well, right? You can't give it all out. So I've definitely been training a lot this week. I swam every day, so I was quite fatigued, and I knew my arm. In fact, now I couldn't even hold my phone well. My arm was tired from the swimming, and I knew my body too, to be honest, right? So I was trying not to give it all out, right? Because if you give it all out, then you're not gonna have enough strength for the next points and to win the next games and to win the set and to win the whole match. So that's point number 2, right? Being able to putting the right level of strength, right? Don't let's say consume all your strength at once, right? You only have like limited amount of strength. I think like the easiest way for us who grew up playing video games is that there was a lot of video games that like you had a turbo and you only had X amount of turbo mode. And actually there were a lot of like more recent games where if you use all the turbo mode, all the energy, like your character might even die, rightfully, right? The other thing, which is like the opposite side of that, is that if you don't put enough strength, or let's call it also like enough commitment, enough focus, enough attention, you lose, right? So when you don't give enough, you lose. It's really hard to find the optimal level, right? You don't want to work like 16 hours a day, but you also don't want to work 2. and you do want to be like attentive over meetings, but you also don't want to have too many meetings, right? So it's about obviously this balancing, right? Still about this balancing, but really don't go too low. And then I would say like, if you want to keep winning, you gotta keep training. So I was lucky to win this match. I just passed this quarterfinals. But to be honest, I already know that I've been seeing the guy who I'm gonna play the semifinals. He's been winning against everyone big time. I haven't watched him playing. I wish I would. It's another thing, of course, as you know, from, is it Lao Tse? The Art of War? Know your opponent, right? Know your enemy. And there's just so many lessons in tennis that apply to business. But yeah, going back, like, is that idea of you gotta train, right? I know my backhand is not that great, right? I pretty much don't feel confident responding with a top spin backhand, and that's just an issue. That's just really an issue I need to fix. Otherwise, like, I could count at least 5 to 10 points because I wanted to like slice the ball, but I really couldn't, and I really needed a top spin in my backhand. So I half sliced it and it just went out. Yeah, between 5 to 10 times, closer to 10, probably say 7 to 8 times. I won this match in a tie break, so you do need luck, as always in life. Obviously, always the never give up, never ever give up. So really what I love about tennis is that it's a concentration of so many things that happen in life versus, like that, but just condensed in like an hour, 2 hours playing a sport. So yeah, there's benefits in terms of doing team sports like soccer or whatever. Even paddle tennis has been exploding here in Italy. But the ability for you to organize your own strengths, your own thoughts, your own focus, right? It's just something else. And like, just tennis is exponentially more difficult than paddle. Like, to even throw a serve in, I mean, it's just so much harder, right? And yeah, the field is a lot bigger, and just the racket, they can have like all sorts of spins and twists with the ball. So yeah, just a sport I strongly recommend anyone to get into. And I noticed also I have an uncle who's like, I think he's approaching 80 years old, and he's still playing like amazingly. He's playing on like every other day, actually on this same court. And I mean, I do think probably swimming is healthier. Swimming and fast walking, they're healthier than tennis at a certain age. But I think he's able to keep like a mental fitness, because yeah, that's the other thing. The way the brain works, I think when you're playing tennis versus walking is easy. Like, it's actually like a way to kind of clean up your brain from any other issues and stuff. But tennis is like, it's just the level of focus you need to put on tennis is really hard to compare to other sports. I'm sure there are, like, I think golf, I only tried golf like a couple of times. I actually had a very bad idea about golf, but I totally changed my mind earlier this year when I was in Madrid in January. Actually, shout out to my cousin that I love for taking me there with a friend from Mexico. So I think, stepping out of tennis, another thought about, like, always be open to new stuff. You like never stop learning, so always be open to new stuff. I think I need to set a reminder for myself, and I'm doing this video more like really for myself, but hopefully if it helps anybody else get into tennis, get into another sport. Tell me about like your favorite sports and what have you been learning from your sports. I can touch upon swimming as well, because I definitely became a swimmer this year. And I think there as well, like having all the right equipment, the right goggles, the right stuff, like it's key. I did go and fix my racket finally. I didn't have good rackets. Like, you need good equipment, or it's just it's like I'm not gonna mention any specific war, but when people are sent to war, they don't have the right equipment, you just see them dying, like. And yeah, you need the right equipment, the right level of technology and so on, but yeah, you need to keep training, which I've been doing a lot with swimming. And yeah, I need to try this freaking app. It's called Swing Pro or something like that really checks everything you do on swimming, on tennis. You hang it like around here, like on the fence, and it should tell you also when the balls are in or out or whatever, and I think it should also tell you how your swing is going. So anyways, this is it from this tennis court of my childhood. I'm kind of happy I won, because I didn't win by far, and I let it go too much on the set, but yeah, semifinals are gonna be tough, but I'm still glad I showed up and I pulled through. So greetings everyone, take care.